So I'm just going to go through the examples from applying the exponent laws notes, okay? So I'm going to start with E, which is 10a 5b3 over 6a squared b to the negative 2. So the first thing I see here is my negative exponent. Now I want to change that and make it positive. So I'm going to go 10a5b3. Those are all positives, right? Keep them there. 6a squared. But now my b has a negative 2. So we know this from a couple days ago. We need to do the reciprocal. So we need to put this on top. This is like 1 over b to the negative 2. We need to put b to the positive 2 on top. So I'm just going to write b squared up here because I made it the reciprocal. So now we need to simplify. So with exponent laws, we're going to still keep, well, actually we don't keep 10, sorry. With those whole numbers, 10 and 6, they are an even number, right? So we can simplify that. So it's going to be 5 over 3. We have an a to the power of 5 divided by a to the power of 2. So we know the quotient, we subtract these. So it's going to be a to the power of 3. And now that we have b's, we need to add these exponents. So it's going to be b5. Okay, sorry for my line there. It's not very good. So there's our first one. Now let's look at F. So we have 8a to the power of 3, b to the power of 6, all to the power of 1/3. So we can keep that power to the third, right? We know how to deal with fractional exponents. But this means we have to multiply each term. So we're going to go 8 to the power of 1 over 3. So now that we have exponents already, we need to multiply these, right? So it's going to be 3 times 1 over 3, so that's 3 over 3, and 6 times 1 over 3 is 6 over 3. Now our next step, we just need to simplify this. So we're still going to have 8 to the power of 1 over 3. We'll deal with that next. 8 to the power of 3 over 3, that's 1, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. b 6 divided by 3 is 2. All right, so now here, we don't leave fractional exponents, right? So we need to deal with that, and you should know how to deal with that from a few days ago. So we're going to cube root it, right? It's the denominator, that becomes our index. So the cubed root of 8, ab squared. Now the cubed root of 8, hopefully that sounds familiar to you, is 2. 2ab squared, that's our final answer. Okay, let's look at G. So we have x to the power of 5 over 2, y to the power of 2, multiplied by x to the power of 1/2, y to the power of -1. So what I'm going to do is write out our combined terms, or the ones similar terms. So I'm going to write x to the power of 5 over 2 times x to the power of 1 over 2 times y to the power of 2 times y to the power of -1. Okay, so now let's combine like terms. So we have our x's. So if we're multiplying these, good thing the fraction have common denominators. So it's going to be x to the power of 6 over 2. And these 2 plus -1, right? So y is going to be y1. And that x and to the power of 6 over 2 is 3. Y, there's our answer. Okay, I get it's a little confusing. You just have to keep trying them. All right, so let's go with H. So we have 8 to the power of -2, b to the power of 2 over 5, or 3. Can't read my writing, sorry. Over 2a squared b to the power of 1 over 3. All right, so what I'm going to do is first just simplify these like terms, right? So 8 divided by 2 is going to be 4. And then we are subtracting these terms, right? So we're going to, well, actually, we're going to move this down, right? Because this is a negative term. So we're going to move that to the bottom, right, to make a positive exponent. And now we can combine the b's. So 2 over 3, subtract 1 over 3. So it's just going to be b 1/3. And then we still have another a squared down here, right? Don't forget about that. So now all we have to do is clear up that bottom. So it's going to equal 4b1 over 3 a to the power of 4 because you add those exponents. Okay? Go for I here. So 3x to the power of negative 4, y to the power of 5, all to the power of negative 3. So for this one, I'm going to make our positive exponents. Well, first, I'm going to do this outside power. So I'm going to put it to each of these terms. So I'm going to say 3 to the power of negative 3 x, so we multiply these, right? So negative 4 times negative 3, so positive 12, and y to the power of negative 15. Now from here, I still have negative exponents, so I need to do the reciprocal. So I'm going to say the bottom here, 3 to the power of 3, x to the power of 12, y to the power of 15. Sorry, I did that a little funky there. Okay, so one last thing to simplify this is 3 to the power of 3, and that is 27. Y to the power of 15, that's our answer. Okay? All right, we got 3 more. All right, so J. So 2 over 5, a to the power of negative 1, b to the power of negative 7, all to the power of negative 2. So like the last one, we're going to take that negative 2 and multiply it on each of those terms. So it's going to become 2 over 5 to the power of negative 2. Now we're going to multiply these, right? So it's going to be a to the power of 2 because negative 1 times negative 2 is positive, and b to the power of 14. Okay? So now we still have a negative exponent here, so we need to flip this. We need to get the reciprocal, so flip the fraction. So it's going to be 5 over 2 to the power of 2, a squared b to the 14. Now we just have to do this. So 5 squared is 25, 2 squared 4, a squared b 14. Okay, so that's our answer. Okay, now we have negative 27 x to the power of 9 over y to the power of a quarter, z to the power of 6, all to the power of 1/3. So this looks like a mess, right? So first things first, I'm going to do, like we've been doing, is taking this third and multiply it by each of these terms. Okay, so it's going to be negative 27 to the power of 1/3. X to the power, so 9 times 1/3, so 9 over 3. Or you could write 3 there if you wanted to skip that step, right? So now we do y, negative 1 over 4 times 1 over 3. That's going to give us y to the power of negative 1 over 12. Then we have z, 6 times 1 over 3. So 6 over 3, okay? Now, we need to start to simplify this. So I'm going to do negative 27 to the power of 1 over 3. We know that. We do that by doing a root, a cubed root, right, of negative 27. This becomes x to the power of 3, because 9 divided by 3, right? Now, we leave y, nothing to simplify on y yet. And z to the power of 2. Now, there's 2 last things to do. Hopefully you can see them. First, we need to solve this root, right? So the cubed root of negative 27 is negative 3. X to the power of 3. Oh, we have a negative fraction here. Okay, that needs to move to the top. We have to flip it, so 1 over 12. And z to the power of 2. Okay, you can leave this as a fractional exponent because this is a variable. If this was a number like 2, we would have to solve it, okay? But because it's a variable, you can leave it as a fractional exponent in the answer. All right, last one. So 75a over 100a to the power of 5, b to the power of negative 1 over 2, all to the power of 2. So there's a couple ways to do this. If you wanted to start, you could square it, right? Take this outside power. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one a little bit differently, and I can easily see that I can simplify just this fraction itself before squaring it, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So 75 divided by 100, that's an easy fraction, so that's 3 over 4, okay? Now we have a over a to the power of 5. So the quotient of those, we know with these powers, we subtract it. So it's going to be a to the power of 4. Okay? And then we have b to the negative 1/2. But this, we need to make this positive. Right? So it's going to go b 1/2 up here. Okay? Oh, but don't forget, this is all squared still. We didn't do that. So now we just need to figure this out. So we need to put the squared on each of these terms. So it's going to be 3 squared. Now b, so 1/2 times 2, so that's just going to be 1. 4 squared. And a, 4 times 2, 8. About 8, sorry. Okay, so now we have 3 squared, so that's 9. B over 4 squared is 16, a to the power of 8. Okay, so just keep going over these, practice these. You'll need these for those worksheets that you have to do, okay? Good luck.